Okay, folks, welcome to season 6 of The Aviators, and welcome to something that we haven't tried before, a director's commentary. I'm Anthony Nally. I'm the director and executive producer of The Aviators. You might also know me as occasionally being on the show, and I'm the ever-present voice of the show as I narrate it as well. What we are doing here is providing you a little bit of background information and sort of behind-the-scenes type stuff for some of the segments that we're doing by providing a commentary. And I'm really, really happy that our first commentary involves a really remarkable person, Jessica Cox, who you now see on the screen. If it's not obvious to you yet, Jessica Cox is remarkable in that she's a pilot, which in and of itself, I think is remarkable, but it's not necessarily remarkable. But she's a pilot who was born without arms. And how do you fly an airplane without arms? Well, I mean, I'll let Jessica answer that question for you. But the fact that somebody can do it, honestly, the fact that somebody would consider doing it, I think is remarkable. And I think Jessica is a true inspiration. And we gave her an opportunity to follow up on a series of popular segments that we've done. Due to a rare birth defect, can a private pilot land an airliner? Can a non-pilot land an airliner? Can a kid land an airliner? Well, we thought we'd play up on that series of segments by doing, can a pilot with no arms land an airliner?
Was born without the arms, without the hands, so my brain.
And that's what this segment's all about. And as you can see in the segment so far, can a person with no arms do any number of things? Well, if you're Jessica Cox, the answer is, yeah.
When it came to flying an airplane, there was going to be no question about it.
She can fly an airplane. I mean, she can do a whole lot of things. I mean, it's incredible. She's an inspiration. We've wanted her on the show for a while, and I'm glad that she's finally on the show and kicking off season 6 for us. I can tell you the truth, though, that when we contacted her to do the Can a Pilot with No Arms Land an Airliner segment, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, when we did the Can a Private Pilot Land an Airliner, and I, of course, was the private pilot that did that, I mean, I figured I'd probably land the airplane. I didn't know how smoothly that whole thing would be, but I figured I could probably land the airplane. I'm not that lacking of confidence where I thought it was impossible. In fact, I'll tell you the truth on those segments. It's kind of something that every pilot, when they get into an airliner, they kind of dream that, hey, will this be the day that the pilots become incapacitated, and someone says, hey, does anyone know how to fly the plane? And then you jump up and you're the big hero. I mean, you certainly would never want that to happen. But you kind of wonder, hey, what if it did? Would I be able to land the aircraft? And that's where that whole series of segments came from. So we kind of knew when I was going to land the airliner that I probably would land the airliner. Would the airliner be able to be flown again afterward? Well, that's another story. But honestly, I can tell you that when putting Jessica in the cockpit of the airliner, I really didn't know that she'd be able to do it. And it's not for lack of skill or competence or anything like that. It's just she flies the aircraft with her feet. So her feet need to get everywhere that they need to get in order to operate various controls and flight control devices like the yoke or the flight stick. So, I mean, the aircraft environment itself, the cockpit environment itself can be very, very limiting for her. And, we didn't adapt it in any way whatsoever. So I didn't know what to expect. And I wanted to be very honest with this segment. If she didn't do it, we'd show that she didn't do it. And I think the objective there would be that it's really tough to land an airliner, particularly with no arms. And so we would show that, and that would be what gets revealed. But, if she did do it, wow, wouldn't that be something? So, we were as curious as anybody else. Something tells me Jessica, she's playing coy here, saying, there's an opportunity and it's a lot of fun and I want to try it. I'm not sure she had any doubt in her mind right from the beginning. I think she thought, I'm going in here and I'm going to do what I've done a million times. I'm going to nail it. But, we didn't know.
As fast or as heavy as an airliner. So when given the opportunity to visit Embry-Riddle University's Bombardier CRJ-200 simulator, Jessica was more than game to get behind the controls and attempt to land the airliner. As a sports
So here we are. We've seen the simulator for the first time. It is an unbelievable simulator. I mean, this is not something that you have in your basement, folks. This is millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. The technical accuracy, the flight realism involved in these simulators. I mean, I've flown in aircraft and I've flown these simulators, and I haven't flown airliners, of course, but these things are flight real. They really, really are. And we were at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. They are absolutely terrific to us, to the show. They're very good friends of the show, and I'll tell you, they are the place to go for all things aviation. And this is just one of several things that they have on their campus that is just the best of the best. So you'll see the flight environment here, and you'll see how Jessica has to kind of get comfortable in the flight environment, and just watching her just whip her leg around and literally grab the throttles and operate them.
So if you press that red button twice.
It's incredible. It's incredible to watch her do, anything, because she does it seemingly effortlessly, and it doesn't seem like a big deal to her. But right now, she's flying a darn airliner with her feet. And I think I was more nervous getting in. It's a simulator. You know that no one's going to get hurt, and that's great. But you want to feel like it's real. And when I got in the simulator, there's a little bit of nervousness there. You don't want to look silly, first of all. Although I kind of do that on the show, so I'm kind of used to it. But you want to be a good pilot. You just want to be a good pilot. And whether you're in a simulator or whether you're in any aircraft, you just want to take the controls and do your very best and fly it. And she did that right from the get-go. She just sat down. She hasn't had practice prior to this. I swear to you. She went in there, and the minute she walked in the simulator and started to feel comfortable and to get going, we rolled cameras. So it's not like she had 5 or 6 goes ahead of time. This was her first go right here. The instructor, as everyone at Embry-Riddle, was terrific, patient, informative, extremely intelligent, knew everything that needed to be done, and was giving the kind of guidance that in a guardian angel sort of a way, just you don't need to think too much about what you're doing next, because you're kind of getting the voice in the ear to tell you what you're doing next.
Following that glide slope for 27 left.
27 left.
If you look outside, we're on the farthest way to the left. There you go. So that is 27 left.
Okay.
Okay, let's put the gear down.
This was wild for me. That thing it's got a detent in there, so you have to grab that knob, pull it out, yank it down, and then release it. So it actually requires some effort using your thumb and forefinger. And she just grabbed it with her toes effortlessly. If you've ever grabbed a landing gear knob, it's not that it's difficult, but it feels a certain way, and it does require manipulation. It requires obvious manual manipulation for an obvious reason. You don't want someone to brush by it and have the landing gear go up or down accidentally. So it's a very deliberate switch. And if anything, I thought that might be a challenge, if not 100 other places where there might be a challenge, but I thought that would be a challenge for her. But nope.
100 minimums.
Now she's coming in for a landing.
30, 20, 10.
Very good.
There you go.
Yep. A little bit to the right rudder.
Right rudder.
There you go. Get it back on side.
And you could tell by the look on her face and that sigh, and and she's kind of huffing and puffing a little bit.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Seeing all that
she
Jessica
didn't
has
take
managed
that
to
like she was,
accomplish throughout her
yeah, I'm
life
just
without
playing a
harm,
game here.
it's
I'm
not
in a
surprising
simulator.
that she's able to
She
generate
took
so
that
much
seriously.
inspiration with
That was a
people all
pilot
over the
that
world,
wanted to land an
giving them
airliner
confidence and helping them to
and did,
reinforce the notion that
and
we are
was
greater
excited
than
about
the
it. I mean,
limitations we perceive,
I mean,
and that
even
we
getting a
can
little
accomplish
emotional
something
on
with no
how it
limit to what
apparently,
can be
I think she impressed herself, for crying out loud. And
Naturally,
I don't know how she can
everyone
impress
has
herself. I mean,
something
she's just
that keeps
the
them
image
from
of,
doing
of
what
of
they
being
would love to
impressive
do.
constantly. I
It
could tell you
does
that
look
she
like it
blew
could
all of us
potentially be
away.
Intimidating.
But I
I
think
will
she might
tell
have
you,
even
when I
impressed
first
herself
walked
a
in
little
that
bit there.
simulator cockpit, it was quite intimidating. If you do something one step at a time, you start progressing and you start building momentum, and you eventually get to a point where you're able to accomplish that goal. But you can't let the fear stop you. Just break it down, take it one step at a time, and don't be afraid to do it.
You know what? Isn't that great advice? All right, so that concludes our commentary on this segment. I hope you found it informative, and I know I found it fun, and I look forward to doing the next one. And we'll see you on that next commentary. And in the meantime, enjoy season 6 of The Aviators. And if you haven't seen seasons 1 through 5, you're about 65 episodes behind, so you better get on that, because if you like this segment and you like this episode, then we've got a bunch more for you, so enjoy them.